I was a much better mother before I had kids. I freely gave my expert advice to mothers as they maneuvered motherhood. Being a mother before I had kids was a walk in the park. Before I got pregnant, I vowed I would not use any meds during my labor and deliveries. I wouldn't allow the nurses to kidnap my precious baby, give it a pacifier, and hold it hostage in the hospital nursery. This, of course, would disrupt the nursing equilibrium, forever altering the intense mother-child bond that occurs during those first precious days. Later, I vowed I would never set my child in front of a VCR and use a movie as a babysitter, depriving that sponge-like brain of absolutely necessary mother-child interaction. No store-bought baby food, no fast food, no candy. Before I had kids of my own, I was confident that I would be a calm and reasonable mother, and also gracious and perfectly put together. And I wouldn't fall into bad habits like yelling at my children or poor personal hygiene. I shook my head at mothers who came to social functions with stuff dried on their clothes. And I felt pity for moms who discussed their children's body functions. Pooping, puking, farting, and burping are not funny. I would listen to mothers talk with concern about their children fighting. I would calmly think, my children won't fight, because my children will love each other. Those mothers just needed to be better mothers. Well, you all know how this fairy tale ends, don't you? During one of my labor and deliveries, after it was too late for drugs, I nearly offered my husband's left testicle for an epidural. In fact, there are half a dozen epidurals out there somewhere with my name on them. I'm hoping to figure out a way to use them for a mammogram or some pain-free dental work, since apparently you can't use them for the first few weeks of nursing a newborn. You've probably figured out by now that all my babies went to the hospital nursery. Can't I just have 10 more minutes of sleep? And yes, we use pacifiers. There may actually have been a time where I may or may not have used the word pacifier and the phrase duct tape in the same sentence. And breastfeeding, although completely natural, is not always easy. I remember one night in particular when my daughter woke up to nurse, and I started crying in anticipation of the pain that would ensue. My husband, trying to fix things, said, "I wish there was something I could do." To which I replied in my sweetest, demon-possessed voice, "There is something you can do. You can go over to that dresser, open up the drawer, and slam the tip of your penis in it repeatedly. Then you might have a teeny idea of how much this hurts." In my after-children reality, I did in fact use the VCR as a babysitter. I not only used the VCR, I used the DVR, PBS, the History Channel, CNN, Animal Planet, our cat, and the neighbor's dog as babysitters. My children have all eaten Chicken McNuggets, McFries, McWonderburgers, McBoogers, and McArtificially colored cheese puffballs. I quickly realized only saints, Stepford wives, or heavily medicated women always talk calmly to their children, use positive parenting techniques, and never lose it. I'm not proud to admit that I once told my son I was going to sell him to the gypsies. Another time, I offered to cut off his head and plant it in the garden. I have been known to shut the windows in the summer so the neighbors can't hear me yell. And one time, I was so angry, I couldn't even match up the child's name with their correct middle name. From somewhere in my subconscious, I heard myself yell, "Matthew Rose, if I have to come over there?" Where I once shook my head at disbelief at mothers who appeared in public with snot, poop, or puke on them, I would tell people I wore dark-colored pants so the heights of my children would clearly be indicated by the snot lines on my pant legs. And as far as having poop on my clothing, I actually carried poop in my purse for a short time. This still remains a complete and utter mystery, but somehow, while I was changing my one-year-old's diaper, a turd rolled into my purse. I no longer roll my eyes at mom who discuss body functions at length. Frankly, once you have kids, it's hard for this subject not to make it into normal conversation. In my house, the sound of someone puking will clear a room. I recently witnessed my 12-year-old son ninja dive over the back of the couch just before I caught puke in an empty sippy cup. My daughter announced her 2-for-1 to most of the congregation at our church when she sneezed and farted at the same time. Now that I have kids of my own, I realize that siblings fight a lot, and not because of bad parenting. They fight a lot, and they love a lot. I've given up on any Pinterest-worthy parenting tricks to force our kids to get along. We did duct tape our boys together once, though, face to face, belly to belly, trying to get them to reconcile. Yep, I was a much better mother before I had kids. And now, I clearly understand I am not a perfect mother, but I am exactly the mother God knew my 6 children needed. Even with my mistakes, my fears, and my shortcomings, where I once gave criticism disguised as unsolicited expert advice, I now offer congratulations, accolades, and encouragement to other mothers as we navigate motherhood.